Over 30% of seniors have already suffered a silent stroke, and most don't even know it happened. No headache, no warning, no memory of when it began. But the damage, permanent. Memory loss, falls, slurred speech, dementia. This video will uncover the real signs of silent stroke you must not ignore. Watch until the end, and you'll gain the knowledge to protect yourself and your loved ones. Your life may literally depend on it. Every week, we uncover life-saving facts seniors often miss. So please, subscribe now to never miss a critical warning, and comment below the health concern you'd like us to explain next. Today's episode will reveal the hidden dangers of silent stroke and 12 silent stroke fighters, vitamins, foods, and habits every senior must know that could quietly protect your brain. Let's begin. Your clarity starts here. 1. Vitamin K2, the missing link behind artery calcification and silent heart attacks. She took calcium every morning. She never missed a pill. Her diet was clean, low in fat. She walked daily, even helped her neighbors with groceries. But one afternoon, as she stood in her kitchen, she felt something strange. Not pain, but a pressure in her chest that made her pause. She waited. It passed. Weeks later, it returned. When she came to my clinic, I ordered a scan. The results shocked her, and frankly, broke my heart. The arteries around her heart were stiff, laced with calcium like a narrow path covered in hardened snow. "But I don't eat badly," she whispered. "I'm doing everything right." And in her own way, she was. But she had missed one crucial detail: vitamin K2. This vitamin doesn't lower cholesterol. It doesn't clear plaques like a miracle drug. What it does is far quieter and far more critical. It directs calcium where it belongs, into your bones and away from your arteries. Without it, calcium, the very mineral you think is helping, can quietly become your greatest threat. In the Rotterdam study, adults who consumed enough K2 had a 57% lower risk of dying from heart disease. Let me repeat that. 57%. That's not a minor difference. That's a second chance at life. So where do you get it? Fermented foods like natto have it. Certain aged cheeses carry it too. But let's be honest. How often do seniors in the US eat natto? Most don't even know what it is. That's why MK7 supplements, especially when paired with vitamin D3, can make all the difference. Not tomorrow, today. Because while calcium builds bones, K2 protects what keeps you alive, your arteries. Her name was Linda. She's 67. She's fine now. She takes K2 every morning. But she told me, with eyes slightly wet, "I wish someone had told me this earlier." That moment stayed with me. And if you're watching this, maybe it's not too late for you or someone you love. If you or your parents take calcium, please share this video with them now, not later. Comment K2 below if you'd never heard of it before. And stay with me, because the next chapter reveals a fat from the ocean that may reduce artery inflammation before it turns deadly. 2. Omega-3, the ocean's gift that silently fights artery inflammation and stroke risk. Some strokes don't come from clots. They come from fire. Not the kind that burns your skin, but the kind that quietly smolders inside your arteries, weakening their walls without a single symptom. I've seen patients with perfect cholesterol, clean diets, even no history of heart disease, suddenly suffer a silent stroke. Mr. James, 71 years old, was one of them. He lived alone, walked daily, avoided fried foods, and never smoked. Yet one morning, he struggled to form words and couldn't lift his left hand. When we scanned his brain, it revealed an ischemic stroke, small but real. His blood wasn't thick, his arteries weren't blocked, but his blood vessels were inflamed. For years, quietly, invisibly. You see, chronic low-grade inflammation damages the endothelium, the fragile inner lining of your arteries,
making it easier for plaque to rupture and cause stroke. And unlike chest pain or palpitations, inflammation has no warning signs. It simmers, then snaps. One of the most powerful tools to fight this hidden danger is omega-3, especially the kind found in krill oil and fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. Rich in EPA and DHA, omega-3 fatty acids don't just lower triglycerides, they calm the fire. In studies, omega-3 users had 25 to 45% lower CRP levels, a key marker of vascular inflammation. That's not theory, that's blood-tested reality. And yet, many seniors avoid fat, fearing weight gain or cholesterol. But omega-3 is not the enemy. In fact, it's often the missing piece. If your joints ache, your blood pressure rises in the morning, or your brain feels foggy, you might be inflamed and not even know it. Start by eating fish twice a week, or take 10,000 to 2,000 milligrams of omega-3 daily, preferably IFOS-certified krill oil. It's small, easy to digest, and less fishy than you'd expect. And if you already take omega-3, share this video with someone who doesn't, because the fire inside doesn't wait. Comment omega-3 if this is the first time you've heard how it protects your arteries.
3. The vitamin that may quietly thicken blood and raise stroke risk. It sits quietly on your kitchen shelf, a small bottle, white label, probably says supports immunity and bone health. For most people over 60, it feels like common sense. Take your daily vitamin D. But John didn't know what 5,000 IU meant. He just heard that vitamin D was good for the heart, protects against COVID, helps aging bones. So he took one capsule every morning for 8 months. Never tested his levels, never asked his doctor. He lived alone, cooked for himself, and rarely went outside. One morning, he noticed numbness around his lips, a heavy pressure in his left cheek, and a strange delay when he tried to speak. His words came out thick. He knew something was wrong. It wasn't dramatic, but it was enough. The ER doctor later told him, mild stroke. His blood work showed elevated calcium and excessive vitamin D levels, both contributing to increased blood thickness and platelet activity. Most people think it's just a vitamin, how can it hurt? But vitamin D, when taken in high doses and without balance, can lead to excess calcium in the blood, which signals your platelets to stick together more readily. And when that happens, your blood becomes more coagulable, not thicker like syrup, but more eager to form a clot. Now imagine that clot traveling silently, finding a narrow spot in your brain, and suddenly, everything changes. This isn't a scare tactic, it's biology, and it's preventable. If you're taking vitamin D, especially over 2,000 IU per day, get your 25OH vitamin D and calcium levels tested every 6 months. Don't guess. Pair it with vitamin K2 to direct calcium into your bones instead of your arteries. And if you can, get 10 to 15 minutes of morning sunlight instead. The body was designed to produce what it needs, gently, naturally, without bottling it in excess. If this made you pause, comment D3 below. And please, share this video with someone who's taking vitamin D every day without checking their levels. In the next chapter, I'll show you a common breakfast mistake that quietly raises blood pressure in seniors every single day. You won't believe how many are doing it. 4. The morning habit that quietly raises blood pressure in seniors. She thought it was harmless. A warm cup of black coffee every morning, always on an empty stomach. It helps me wake up, she told me. Margaret was 73, lived alone, and started each day the same way. Wake up, skip breakfast, pour her coffee, then sit quietly by the window as the world stirred to life. One Tuesday morning, 15 minutes after her last sip, she stood up to get dressed and suddenly felt her chest tighten. Her vision blurred. She reached for the table and missed. Security footage later showed her swaying, eyes wide, hands shaking, before slowly collapsing onto the rug. It wasn't a full stroke, but it was a warning, and one many seniors miss. What happened? It's simple but rarely explained.
Caffeine, especially on an empty stomach, causes the blood vessels to constrict and the adrenal system to surge. For seniors whose vascular elasticity is already reduced, this causes a sudden spike in blood pressure, sometimes by 15 to 20 points within minutes. And if there's already plaque or inflammation inside the arteries, that spike can become the trigger for rupture, clot formation, or worse, a silent stroke. The danger isn't the coffee itself, but when and how it's consumed. Most seniors never hear this. They've been told to avoid salt, watch cholesterol, but not that their morning routine could be quietly pushing them toward risk. So here's when I tell my patients, never drink coffee on an empty stomach. Eat something first, a banana, a piece of toast. If you're sensitive, switch to decaf or try herbal tea with lower stimulant impact. Monitor how you feel 30 minutes after. Your body speaks. We just have to learn to listen. If you or someone you love drinks coffee each morning without eating, please share this video before a warning comes. Comment "coffee" if this surprised you. And stay with me, because in the next chapter, we'll uncover a popular vitamin that many believe protects the heart, but may actually thicken the blood and increase stroke risk overnight. And please, stay with me. In the next chapter, I'll reveal a common breakfast mistake that quietly raises blood pressure in seniors every single day. You won't believe how many are doing it.
5 natural foods that gently clean your arteries after 60. After 4 chapters of warning signs and hidden dangers, I want to give you something lighter, something you can hold on to. Because while some risks are silent, nature has given us quiet defenders too. And if you're over 60, these foods can do more than just nourish you. They may help cleanse your arteries, reduce inflammation, and protect your heart without side effects. Let me tell you about Mary. She was 75 when we met. Thin, quiet, resistant to medications. "I don't want more pills," she said. But she agreed to try food, not as a diet, as medicine. We started small: avocado toast in the morning, beets twice a week, wild salmon on Sundays. Within 18 months, her blood pressure stabilized, her LDL dropped, her CRP, a marker of inflammation, cut in half. A follow-up scan even showed improved artery flexibility. "My chest doesn't feel tight anymore," she said. "I walk without needing to stop." It wasn't magic, it was consistency. So here are the 5 foods I recommend to almost every senior patient. 1. Pomegranate, rich in polyphenols, improves blood flow and reduces oxidative stress. 2. Beetroot, contains natural nitrates, gently dilates arteries. 3. Avocado, lowers LDL while raising heart-protective HDL. 4. Wild-caught salmon, provides clean omega-3s that calm arterial inflammation. 5. Aged garlic extract, reduces blood pressure and prevents platelet clumping. These are not instant solutions. Think of them as gentle brushes clearing the riverbed of your circulatory system, removing debris, softening edges, and letting your blood flow freely again. You don't need all 5 every day. Start with 3 per week. Bake, steam, or eat raw. What matters is regularity, not perfection. This isn't about restriction, it's about restoration. If this gave you hope, comment "Food Heals" below. Share this with someone who's afraid of more medication. Let them know there's another way, one that starts on their plate. And please, stay with me, because in the next chapter, I'll challenge a belief most doctors rarely question, that your normal blood pressure might not be safe anymore, especially after 60.
If you're over 60, do these 3 things now to prevent a silent stroke before it's too late. If you're over 60 and you've been silently assuming that feeling fine means you're healthy, I need you to stop right now. Many of my patients, active, smiling, and seemingly strong, walked into my clinic with no complaints. But when we ran scans, we found damage already done. Silent strokes had already left their fingerprints on the brain, and they didn't even know it. It's terrifying. That's why I beg you, not out of fear, but out of deep concern, to act today. Because there are 3 simple but powerful things you can start doing now to protect your brain before it's too late. First, hydrate regularly, not just when you feel thirsty. Dehydration thickens your blood and increases the risk of clots forming, exactly what can trigger a silent stroke. Keep a schedule, set alarms, make water your companion. Second, move your legs for at least 5 minutes every hour. Seniors who sit for long stretches, watching TV, reading, or even resting, slow down blood circulation, especially to the brain. Gentle movement activates vessels, flushes toxins, and nourishes your neurons. Third, monitor your blood pressure like it's your most valuable possession, because it is. High blood pressure is the #1 trigger for silent strokes, and the damage it does is invisible until your memory falters or your balance slips. But here's the truth, it's never too late. Even if you've ignored these signs before, even if you feel fine now, your next action could protect your brain for years to come. Talk to your doctor, buy a home BP monitor, and most importantly, share this video with someone you love, a neighbor, a sibling, your partner. This isn't just medical advice, it's a wake-up call wrapped in compassion. If you do just these 3 things, hydrate, move, and monitor, you're not just surviving, you're protecting the core of who you are. The next chapter will explain why some seniors get hit with multiple silent strokes and never know until it's too late. But now, please commit to this. And if this touched you, let me know in the comments.
Final message. Silent strokes in seniors must not be ignored. Let's stop it together. You've made it here. That tells me one thing. You care. You care enough to listen, to understand, to protect the people you love, or maybe to protect yourself. We've walked through the most ignored warning signs of stroke after 60. We've seen how silent strokes don't scream, but they steal. They take memory, balance, speech, even joy, without warning, and too often without return. But now you know, and that knowledge can save you or someone you love. Here's what I ask from you. Subscribe to this channel, not for me, but for you, because each week we'll keep bringing the truth, quiet truths, life-saving truths. Watch the next video I've linked right here. It's about one of the most dangerous habits seniors fall into without even realizing. And share this video with someone who needs it, your spouse, your friend, that one neighbor who laughs off forgetfulness. And if something today touched your heart, comment below. Even just type 1 if you're taking action, or 0 if this opens your eyes. I read every single one. Let's turn this comment section into a support circle. Let's make this channel not just a source of health, but a movement for senior life protection. Because you're not alone. You never have to be. And from now on, silent strokes don't stand a chance.